Hi, this is Self-Discovery Support, and I am here again with what are open messages on this channel. And I'm evolving out of so many different types of readings, and I think now I'm at the point where it's just a message. So I'm pulling an oracle card or a tarot card and just chatting about it. Okay, so today I'm using the Decoding Your Fear deck by, I believe, person is called Daniel Malin. This is the creator. Alright, so and this is the deck here, and it's decoding your fears. That is that's a difficult one, right? There's so many fears, and fears are the root of so many of our decisions and our behaviors. Alright, so this one that I pulled, it says, instead of getting defensive, find the value in constructive feedback. Okay, I think it's really related to the last one I did before this on self-esteem. Alright, so what I wanted to think about is, why do we get defensive in the first place? Often it's like a automatic response or an impulsive thing that happens. We don't necessarily understand why. It's like a reaction. It's reactive. I think that's what I want to say. And what this is telling me, though, is the fact that it's listed in the fear deck is that defensiveness, the root of it is fear. And so, okay, if it's about fear, what are we fearful of? I think it's fearfulness. Fear about, think about it, the thing that we're protecting ourselves from. So it's vulnerability, maybe even imperfection, and shame. I thought about it, and because we definitely have to push back. Somebody says something, this essay wasn't right enough, or it wasn't, the grammar wasn't great, or maybe that outfit needs to be changed because there's something that, if that person has your best interests at heart, they want that. But the thing I always think about with defensiveness, it goes hand in hand, because sometimes for people who get defensive, and I think we all can relate to this, is depending on how it's said. So if someone says, hey, I was reading your essay, and they start with the good points, right? So they tell you, okay, the grammar was colorful, or the vocabulary was colorful, and it really used the data well. But some of the things that could improve it, so they're thinking about the good things, right? Some of the things that could improve it are, running it through spell check before. I think that many people wouldn't have an issue with that, but there are people that, whether they're in control of this mechanism or not, because just as we're defensive, there are people who are reactive. They say things in a sharp way. They say things in an angry tone, and it automatically kind of sends us back to a place where we remember somebody doing that to us, and your body is saying, this is not safe. This is really not safe here. And I think that's behind it. And then we also attach shame to that, right? Because you might remember being a kid and your parent checking your homework, and they would chastise you and call you all kind of names, or they'd use a angry tone, and the trigger is there to send you back. So that's something to be aware of. It's once, I feel like awareness is half the work, because each time you feel that, you can know that, okay, this thing is reminding me of the past thing, the past person, the way I was treated before, and therefore maybe part of the hurt or the anger or defensiveness I'm feeling now is also to do with that past thing. I also think that defensiveness for many people is a coping mechanism. So people who are very defensive, you can tell that they grew up in very critical homes. And if that's you, it's like knowing that there's things to know that like you are enough. And it's also, I think when you think about someone who you can talk to, or who you can accept, it's like, who can you accept a critical or constructive feedback from? It's probably someone you trust. You have a track record. So if you have a friend who you've known for a long time and you trust them, even though the words they might be saying would be triggering, you could think, okay, but I have a track record with this person. They care for me. So therefore, that, or they've shown me their care, I feel safe with them generally. Therefore, maybe I can introspect a little on this defensiveness. So if you're able to like stop and think, that might be something that would be useful. And I think the other thing I wanted to point out is that practice listening, like being in the space of listening and non-reactivity. And that's easier said than done. That's definitely a practice, a habit that you have to build. And the other thing is like non-truth. Is this thing true? And also, it's like people say things about you, they have an opinion about you, but does that mean that that's a truth? No, it just means that it's their opinion. And so I think it's thinking about this new shift in your brain, these thoughts over time. So be patient with yourself. You'll get there. I want to show you the 7 of Wands card in tarot because it relates so much. Okay, so I wanted to show you the 7 of Wands card. This is from the Astro Matrix tarot deck, but this is like the typical one that you'll see in the Rider-Waite-Smith decks. It's someone fending off these 6 sticks coming towards them, and they have 1 stick. So it's almost like you feel, if you look at it, you'll see like someone who feels outnumbered. Yet they feel that they must protect themselves or they could potentially be hurt. And that in this is like a real depiction of the feeling of receiving feedback when you are in defensive mode. I don't want to say a defensive person because we all have that in us, and there it is. But the thing is, this person will, often people look at this as defensiveness, but it can often also mean standing up for yourself. And so I think for some of us, we think, well, for many people, you think you need to be defensive to protect yourself. But in some cases, we might want to say, like, what am I protecting myself from? Do I need to protect myself from this particular person, or is this an issue from before? So yeah, I want to leave you with that, and thank you for joining me. Let me know what makes you defensive. Yeah. Okay, so take care, and do like, comment, subscribe, all of that, and I'll see you here again.